Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Saka here, and welcome back to another episode of NASCAR Racing 2003 season. We are at the 1.5 mile Kansas Speedway. Starting behind Alex Bowman and Joey Logano, there's Denny Hamlin on our outside. Brandon is a few rows up in front of me in that gray 27. And basically this track is a lot of speed, a lot of carrying your momentum on corner exit, and very little time out of the throttle, so very fast, very similar to Chicagoland and Kentucky, so a good run here will mean good things for us later in the year. We can see what we can do here. We're getting ready to go green. Pace car is on pit road, getting ready for the start here. We'll try to hold the bottom as best we can, follow Alex Bowman through, and green flag is in the air. A good solid start for us here on the bottom. And Brandon looking to the inside, trying to make some moves there. We've got Clint Boyer on our outside, and we just need to hold the bottom here. Car is really free and touching the apron just a bit. Really reminiscent of that looseness that you get when you touch the apron and the car just wants to slide out from under you. Clint Boyer, whoa, okay, a lot of right hand turn in there, and touching Boyer just a bit. Let's see if we can get off the turn quickly here. Leaders have single filed out, and we've got Suarez down to our inside. Suarez is very aggressive here. We'll give him the spot. Wow, car is really loose on corner entry. We wash up the track just a bit, and that is going to really hurt our straightaway speed. Let's see if we can get in behind. Well, nope, we're up top. Jimmy Johnson pushing through, and Jimmy is not giving us any room. Looks like we're 3 wide, having to fight back on that high lane. We're out of the groove, and I can't really get back to the gas with any authority, and looking like a wrecking ball coming off the corner. There's Brad Keselowski and Ryan Blaney there on the inside, and wow, it looks like we're just being railroaded here. Kyle Busch and Jamie Mack on the bottom, the 42. His teammate follows through. There goes Eric Almirola and Austin Dillon. We're still stuck 3 wide, so while these guys did not get single file, it's putting us back a bit. Losing some spots here. We want to try to get back in line. We still have a car to our inside, but I think we'll clear him. We'll clear AJ Allmendinger and start working back to the bottom with Ryan Newman there right in front of us in the 31. And I think we should be able to get some of these spot back right here. We just need to be on the bottom and get the good drive off. Almirola looks kind of strong up there up top. Newman slow on the bottom. The Richard Childress car is running nose to tail here. Let's see if we can keep our momentum on the outside. We'll get by Ryan and get a fender on Austin Dillon here. Yeah, pretty good launch off the corner, and now that these guys are single file in front of us, we can try to make some moves happen. We're in 20th place here, and as long as the car tightens up for me over the course of this run, we should be able to make a pretty good charge. And with these guys single file, now we won't have to worry about being pushed to the outside groove as long as we don't miss it. Yeah, it looks like they're fighting pretty hard up there in front of us. They should be coming back to us here. We'll start to click off some fast laps, the faster laps of the race here. And indeed, that was our fastest lap of the race. And we just need to keep on this pressure here and reel these guys back in. There's Stenhouse up top. We can get a drive off of Stenhouse and follow Almirola through. And I don't know if we want to be looking 3 wide here on corner entry. It's still early, so I'll roll out just a little bit earlier and stay to the bottom of Stenhouse, complete that pass, and then work on Eric Almirola. And he's still outside, so he had a pretty good run on the outside. Almirola did. We'll finally clear him here. And there we go. Yeah, this pack in front of us is really starting to come back to us here. As long as we can keep running fast laps, get around these 2 cars in front of us, we can start to hone in on this pack. Looking to the inside, and Almirola drives it in there really deep. We should get him on corner exit though, especially if these guys who are 2 wide come back to us. And it looks like Almirola is starting to feel a little bit antsy, trying to get around the 42 of Kyle Larson. Yeah, these guys are like really even on speed. I just have to find where to pounce and make my move. Let's look to the outside here. Almirola, it's starting to peek in on Larson. That's going to put us in a bad spot. Larson cuts off Almirola. We might be able to get some high lane speed going on here. We washed up out of the groove a little bit too much here. So we'll re-rack them up and try it again. So pretty close as far as speed goes, and just a few tenths off really. It's just a matter of getting our fender in there with some authority. Just like so, we'll follow Jamie McMurray up to the top and even get to the outside of Larson, it looks like. And McMurray cuts off Larson just a bit. As long as we don't wash up too much, if we can keep our left sides in that groove, we should maintain. And we do maintain on the outside of Almirola, but they're fighting back on the bottom. Tell you, this is starting to get a little bit frustrating. I know I'm faster than these guys, but with them just barely inching me, it's going to take some work to get around them. Hopefully their tires start to fall off here and we can make shorter work with them. I don't want to go in the middle 3 wide though. We'll follow Larson, see if he can slow down Almirola on the bottom. And we need to sort of back up our turn 3 entry, it looks like. We need to keep our fender right beside them, because they seem to get a good drive from center off. That's where they are beating me. Let's look to the bottom and get to the inside of Almirola here. And we should make short work of him now that he is in the not preferred line. Yeah, we cleared him, and just like that, we are gaining a lot of speed. We should be able to get to the inside of Larson as well. There we go. Now we're starting to make some forward motion, and pretty much all the pack is still right in front of me here. The leaders have checked out a bit. They'll be going into turn 1 about now. Those guys that were able to get single file. So we can get into the top 10 fairly easily here. We've got a bunch of cars right in front of us that are running really close lap times together. If we can get drive off this corner, we can get to the inside of McMurray. We'll get him on the inside of turn 3 and set up for Brad. And the car is starting to feel a lot better. It's not as loose on entry as it was to start for sure. In fact, we may be able to even run some of our fastest laps of the race here coming up soon if we can just get through lap traffic. We'll go around the 2 of Brad Keselowski, focus on Boyer here. Boyer is really slow from center off, as you can see right there. We can look to his outside, and if he's having that much trouble on center off, we may be able to get him coming on the front straightaway. And this pack in front of us is slowing each other up for sure, so we might be able to get a 4-fer or a 5-fer if we can get like a really big run here. I know Kyle Busch is not going to sit idly and wait. He may actually push Blaney up to the outside. We can get a couple cars here inside of Alex Bowman there, follow the bottom on around, and we made up some good spots there. It's like I'm not going faster, just everyone else is going slower, which is what we want to see late into a run. This will be a 1 pit stop race, and we're past the point where fuel is where we wouldn't make it on fuel if we stopped. So we could stop at any time and make it the rest of the way on fuel. It's just a matter of getting caught out in case the caution were to come out. This race has a feeling of a green flag run, so I want to pit as late as I can so I'm not trapped, or at least when the leaders do. Still on the outside is Blaney. We may be able to get, no, that would be a 3 wide move, and I'm not all about the 3 wide life here. We'll just follow Kyle Busch on through and complete the pass on Blaney. And Kyle is really starting to slow up on center off as well. Blaney's still on the outside. We should be able to catch Busch here on corner entry and then set up nicely to run some fast laps by ourselves here. Looks like William Byron is the next car up for bids. That should put us back in the top 10 when we complete the pass on Busch. And let's see what we can do. We're a couple laps away from hitting. We want to get the most out of these new tires as we can without going a lap down. So it's the ball and strike call of when do we want to come in. But we're still really fast compared to the rest of them, so I don't think it would make much sense for us to pit now. If we were starting to lose some speed to these guys, we would definitely come in. But as long as we can chop, you know, a half a second off of these guys per lap, there's real no reason to pit. We can set up Byron here. Nice and easy. That'll put us up into 9th. So a good, hard charge up to the front here. Thankfully, all those cars were fighting amongst themselves. Had they all single filed out, that would be a little bit more difficult. But I think with 10 laps to go, we want to pit this time by and get, 10 or 9 really good laps out of our car. It won't take much to fuel, so a 2-tire stop may be in the cards, but I want as much grip as I can. So we'll look to come down to pit road this time. We want to start braking past the Pepsi sign. And there we go, down to the apron. It looks like Brandon is pitting as well. Get it woed up. We caught Brandon a bit there on pit road entry. Now his pit stall will be a few in front of me, and I believe we are behind Joey Logano, and he does have a War Wagon painted up, which makes our entry much better. We just need to look for the yellow Pennzoil guys, and there they are. Our pit stall is right here in front of him. So we're going to do 4 tires and fuel, boys. Let's go. All right, we will not repair the damage. We apparently got a little bit of damage when we smacked the wall, but that is fine. Not enough to wait on, especially under green. Brandon is down and away, and there in front of us on the apron. And we'll see how we shake out. We have to wait for the rest of the field to cycle through. Got Casey Kane there in front of us. Looking in the mirror, and I don't see anyone else coming. We can blend onto the racetrack as of now. But I'll wait until turn 3 and get the bottom. The leader is on pit road now, so we should get our lap back. And we need to be weary of any cars coming down pit road like Casey Kane. There they go. This time by, where are we going to shake out? Still 36, so we were the first cars to pit, essentially, Brandon and I. So we're going to be really fast here on these first few laps until they pit. So we need to make the most of this as much as we can. And yeah, we're catching cars really quickly, and I imagine Brandon is as well. He's there on the bottom around Bubba Wallace in the 43. These cars are going to be looking to pit this time as well. Get out of the way. Coming through, just a scrape on the wall, not too bad. And Brandon is just right there in front of us. We'll shake out in 30th. So we've made up 6 spots, and I think all these cars here on the apron are also for position. So we are going to be coming with a head of steam here. And I believe the AI cars did take just right side tires. So if we're passing these cars on 4 tires that have just taken 2, we're going to be much faster than them. We'll see where we shake out in the grand scheme of things. The leader is now on pit road, so a few laps of disparity between our pit stops and the rest of them. We're going to shake out 22nd now, and the rest of these cars will be for position as well. Passing the 3. Larson on the apron, as well as Bowman and Boyer. And it looks like Ryan Blaney will be merging up right in front of us. And this is not ideal, these 2 cars running right in front of us. Brandon up to the wall, and it looks like Kyle Busch was up there as well. Perhaps Kyle didn't cut Brandon any slack. That could be. Let's look to the inside of Almirola. We'll be making a charge here. Just 5 laps to go, and all of these cars in front of us are for position, I believe. Bowman opened up that door under Hamlin. We're going to follow Busch through. We didn't lose a whole lot of time there, and a car on the apron once more to really block things up. So let's follow Chase Elliott through, see if we can peek to his outside here, get a run, get to the outside of, inside of Byron there. And all of those cars fighting amongst themselves is going to be good. We're back in the top 10, 4 laps to go, and all of these guys in front of us are for a spot, and we are much faster than them. The lap cars are there in the mix. The 00 is in there, and Ty Dillon in the 13 is mixed up in there as well. We're going to have to go around all of them. It's not the ideal line that we wanted to take. We're going to lose a lot of time there to get around both of those guys. And indeed, more lap cars. Thankfully, we have the apron that no one's going to go down. We'll pass Jimmy Johnson as well on the apron. He was fighting amongst those guys. And the next one up is going to be, well, we didn't complete the pass on Jimmy Johnson yet, around the 32. I mean, as far as the start-finish line was concerned, we've got Chris Buescher in front of us now. We'll go to his outside, and it looks like Suarez will be our next car for position. Coming to 2 laps to go, and we do have one of the fastest cars on the racetrack for sure. And I see Brandon up there fighting from the apron to the bottom. And indeed, Suarez was for position. We'll set up right here, and Kevin Harvick is our next car to battle. Yeah, we'll make short work of him. We'll have all the momentum off corner exit, just like so. And a lapper in front of us, we can take him to the outside and carry that momentum. I believe the 92. Yeah, good bite on corner exit. And this may be where we shake out. White flag is in the air, 1 lap to go, and we are in 4th. So not a bad fight, dropping back to the 20th position in all of that traffic with all of those cars. To fight back to a 4th place is really good. I think the 4 tires made up, but it would be interesting to see what would have happened had 2 tires been a thing. And that's something we can keep in mind for Chicago or Kentucky, since these tracks are very similar in nature. So there we go, all across the line, and we are going to come across to 4th. Brandon was the car in front of us, so Brandon with a 3rd place. Martin Truex Jr. is your winner. Joey Logano in 2nd. Harvick, Suarez, Johnson, Elliott, Hamlin, and Byron round out your top 10. So an uneventful race as far as caution flags were concerned, and if we didn't get shuffled out of the groove, that would have been a really competitive race. I would have liked to see where I would have shaken out, to see if I was faster than Brandon or see if I was faster than Martin Truex Jr. And there goes Brandon. Well, see you later, Brandon. I tell you, that was a treacherous pit road entry. We almost missed the commitment cone ourselves, so I can't be too hypercritical for Brandon. But let's pull into our pit stall and see our charge down at the bottom from those lappers. We passed Jimmy Johnson on the apron there, and that looked pretty exciting from the outside, I assume. It felt pretty exciting from the cockpit. All right, let's go back until we were under Jimmy Johnson. There we go. So let's take a look at this lap. We were under Byron, catching that group in front of us really quickly. And yeah, we were able to really lock in on those lap cars running by ourselves. This was where we made up our money for sure. There's those lap cars, the 00 and the 13. That was a pretty terrible corner entry that we had to take to get around those guys. And once we got the bite from center off, Jimmy Johnson was actually stalled by that lap car. And then around we go to pass 3 cars in just a matter of moments. But let's take a look at the standings after Kansas. Brandon's still ahead with 4 wins. Myself in 2nd with 3 wins. Truex passes William Byron for 3rd. Brad Keselowski is your cutoff driver with 8 spots back to Ricky Stenhouse. A spirited battle between Elliott, Allmendinger, and Hamlin. Just 1 position between each of them. Kurt Busch in danger of dropping out if he has a bad race. And then Jamie McMurray and Boyer really are in the danger zone-ish, but then everyone from Harvick up is at least 1 race ahead, and Daniel Suarez almost 2. So Suarez looking good to enter the chase, but we could have a surprise winner. Suarez could have a bad few weeks. But that's up to fate to decide, but that is going to do it for me in this episode. Ladies and gentlemen of NASCAR Racing 2003 season, like, share, and subscribe if you are so bold. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week for a special all-star race. Take care.